I'm going to talk a little bit about a very controversial topic, measles. And over the past even couple of months now, the media has really been talking a lot about measles. And I think there were a couple of deaths in Texas. Um, you know, thousands of kids or people have got the measles. And so my question is the media focusing on this because they care about people's health, or is it because they care about corporate profit? What is measles really about? And I want to show something that it's something I saw in a med school textbook, probably close to 50 years ago. A friend was in medical school and called me over one time and said, look at this. And there were charts like this, about 8 of them, about for the various diseases that we vaccinated against. And it showed basically the same as this. It showed the history over time, the official numbers. This is England and Wales. But as far as I know, it was the same in the United States and Canada. Death rate per million, and this is from measles, in children under 15 years of age. So you can see in 1860, it was high. It was 1,000, over 1,000 per million, right? And it was like, and it was more than anything else, a public health disease. There was a lot of poverty and tough times for a lot of people. And that, as a doctor once said, poverty is the mother of measles. And there were a lot of public health improvements over time. Better water, cleaner sanitation, whatever it was, better access to food, central heating. And you can see the deaths from measles down until in 1955, the virus was identified. And sometime after that, the vaccine was introduced. But you can see that measles was almost gone before the vaccine was introduced. And you can also see that for some strange reason, this graph, which, as I said, I first saw in a friend's medical school textbook many years ago, is never mentioned, as if it doesn't exist. So when the media is telling us about measles and showing their great concern for our health, which I don't believe for a second. I don't think the owners of the media care about our health for 1 minute. But that's the question. Are they concerned about our health, or are they concerned about corporate profit? And as far as I'm concerned, they're concerned about corporate profit. This is whooping cough or pertussis, which we also vaccinate against in the DPT vaccine, which is one of the most widely used vaccines. The P is pertussis, whooping cough. And you can see it's the same thing from 1860 down to 1960. Here's when the disease was identified. Here's when the vaccine was introduced. Here's when antibiotics were introduced, and, it peters out. But again, why aren't we ever told this? I'll let it go with that, but all I want, really, I think, is the truth. If vaccines are safe, and I think we give like 60 to kids now. If they're safe and effective, then I am 100% for them. But if this is just more corporate profit with no concern about human health, then, and that's what I think it is, then we have a big problem here in Canada. And because, we're just not being told the truth, if I'm right, but maybe I'm wrong. And really, what are the facts? To me, the facts are this is not safe and effective. I mean, it's just not.
Well, Jack, one thing that jumped out when I was looking at those charts was from about 1915 to 1925 was probably the steepest drop in especially measles. What happened? Why? Then you would think with the big part of that being the First World War that a lot of health conditions would have become worse, but for some reason things
Good
improved in
point.
that period. I know, not that I am obviously, but if I was a researcher looking at the cause and trying to understand it, I'd sure focus on what changed then. Why
Yeah.
did it go down?
Yeah. I don't know how tough the times were then, but it could have been that children were dying of something else and not of measles, and that's why the measles thing was going down.
Oh, it certainly could be any number of things, but I know I'd
Yeah.
look at that first.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I mean, it's if you're interested in democracy and truth, then the measles story is important. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not even saying that I'm right, but the fact that it's I mean, I've seen these numbers exist. Why are they never mentioned? The death rate per million for all the diseases. Anyways.